Jones barbecue and foot massage.
We're gonna fry parts of the bird. You didn't even know what fried them. If it's edible and friable, we're gonna make it deliciable.
We don't have things like that around here.
That's unfortunate. So, me and Murky were talking about TV shows. Interesting week in TV. Obviously, we watch a lot of it. Probably too much of it, which is okay.
We
Keeps us
watch
busy.
too much TV.
I'm definitely a potato couch.
I'm a potato couch.
You're a potato couch.
This is your brain. This is your brain on TV. You say words backwards.
For a low price of $5.99.
For the low price of $5.99.
It's a bus. You know how big a bus is?
Yes, we are very avid supporters of Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage, if it wasn't clear.
Yeah, I'll have to post those videos on this week. I think you guys would love them. I tagged a bunch of people, and I know our buddy Pat, he was like, dude, we gotta make a trip there. And I go, nah, let's go to McDonald's and then go home. We don't have one of those in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, gold. But we were talking TV, and there's a show that I've been watching. Well, we'll get to that later, but this is bad. But we're just talking about worst TV endings. It shows that just their endings sucked. Or, for whatever reason, they just weren't up to par with what we wanted.
They made you angry. They made you upset. They made you rant on Facebook.
I mean, I don't know.
Looking at you, Mr. Sam.
Well, besides this show, let me tell you right now, the show, without going into detail what it is till after we do what we're going to do now.
Play with ourselves?
Yes. I think this show's ending was more upsetting and disappointing than Firefly. There, I said it.
I never watched Firefly. I won't because I know what's up with it.
I mean, it's definitely a show that needs to come back. Definitely a show that,
It could.
you know...
So, long story short, because Sam's kind of rambling here, we actually picked our worst 3 endings, and we're going to rank them 1 to 3. I'm going to start with my number 3. It is The Sopranos, and the middle of nothing fucking ending, where it ended mid-sentence, and there was a black screen for 15 seconds, so 80% of the people watching it thought their cable went out. But no, that was the ending. And that was the planned ending, too. Like, that's how they wanted to end the show, just realizing that his daughter can't parallel park, Tony and everyone just sitting eating dinner. He might get whacked, he might not, and then nothing. Just, it wasn't even an ending that was an ending.
So it was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but it was the ending.
Yeah, which is stupid.
They could have just, like, showed the guy, like, they didn't have to show, like, him get whacked. They could have just showed a guy walk up with a gun or some type of something. It's got to be the worst fucking ending. Well, actually, it's not. It's only my number 3.
Yeah, I mean, at least Mike Tyson Mysteries has better endings than that.
Mike Tyson Mysteries is amazing.
Yes, it is.
And so is Mr. Pickles.
So, I'm going to throw this one out here. I'm just trying to think of the TV shows I've watched in the past couple of years. I've been trying to watch quality TV, like TV that just sticks out. Nothing that granted, everyone's watching quality TV. I'm trying not to watch any network TV. But anywho, I'm going to put number 3 as Breaking Bad, and I'll tell you why. So I like how Walter White's character specifically, he dies, or he doesn't, people argue that he didn't because he was just laying on the ground, whatever. But he's there, he gets caught, whatever. I was happy with his ending. I wasn't so satisfied with the fact that his nagging bitch of a wife, Skylar, survived.
You feel there wasn't closure on that?
No. There were people I know who felt... Okay. So this is my argument with Breaking Bad, and I know there's going to be people who disagree with me. I believe in that show that everyone in that show is out for themselves, except for Walter. Everything that Walter White has done, yeah, he did do bad things. I'm not going to justify that. But the things that he did in that show wasn't for himself, but was to support his family when he died. And honestly, past season 1, I thought Skylar was just a waste of space. I did not like her character. She was okay. If I compare her to Gemma from Sons of Anarchy, at least Gemma, she could be a bitch, but her character was really relevant.
The character that played her was amazing.
Yeah,
the actor. Rather.
Yeah, I forgot her name. Oh, what's the one who does Leela in Futurama? Katie Siegel.
Yes.
Siegel, whatever. She was great, and it really worked with the story. Skylar, I felt, became a parasite.
I still can't believe you've watched Sons and you haven't watched The Shield.
It's on my list. There's a lot of things
There's
on my list.
a lot of things on your list, so you need to move that up.
Yeah, it's tough. There's too much media to consume, as we've said before. But yeah, I have to say number 3 would be Breaking Bad.
Interesting. I thought it was a good ending. I can see where you're coming from, though. We'll go to our number 2s. Mine is one that I don't think you've seen yet. You didn't watch The Sopranos either, did you?
I do. That's another one that's on my list. This is why everything gets pushed back.
Keep the Shield on top. But this one you can be right below the Shield. You can actually wait on this one because we're going to talk about that in a minute. But number 2 is Dexter. An amazing fucking show. Probably my second favorite show of all time. Behind the Shield.
I've heard a lot of people like it.
It was just incredible. The first season, the season with John Lithgow, when he's not doing 10-10-220 commercials, fucking amazing show.
Oh shit, I forgot about those.
Even the fucking last season was actually pretty solid. It was the last episode. And I know you haven't seen this. This is going to probably delay you from watching it. But basically, he fakes his death and becomes a lumberjack. That's the fucking ending.
Wow.
I'm not going to say too much solely for your purpose, but I will ruin that much for you because it won't ruin the rest of the story. He basically fakes his death, becomes a lumberjack. He's sitting at like a shitty dinner table, and they just show his face with a beard, and it ends. Cut. After everything. It didn't make any sense. He abandoned certain people. It just fucking blew as an ending. But recently, there's rumor of a reboot.
Is it a reboot or is it a continuation?
No one has confirmed either way, but the fact that it's coming back is confirmed. Somewhere in 2017, 2018, it will be back. A continuation could work. However, certain characters that are dead now, they want back. And that's where the problem lies. I don't think it could be a straight continuation unless there's a fuckload of flashbacks, and that would probably not work.
But would you... I feel like doing a reboot, like a start over of this show all over again, this, like, 2-3 years after it ended?
It's been, I think, a little bit more than that. Maybe 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly when it ended. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, but, like, it's still too close. Even 5 years, that's really close for a reboot.
Another thing I read, which doesn't seem unlikely, is they're going to pick off after, like, season 5, which would be really fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's so much going... There is definitely something Dexter coming back. That is all we know. And I don't want to ruin too much of the show for you because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And this speculation, but there's characters that are dead, without ruining anything for you, that would have to come back. So that's where the problem lies. But there is something coming back in the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm really excited for it. And maybe they will work it out where the characters that are dead will stay dead, come back in flashbacks, but not too many, where it's just like the flashback channel like fucking Arrow does sometimes.
Yeah. I think we're hitting the end of that on the show.
I think they are actually starting to run out of those, thank God. It took forever. It's always the low point of the show, except for 1 or 2.
I mean, he's been there for 5 years. Was on the island for 5 years. They're on season 4, which they keep mentioning. He's on year 4. So hopefully, crossing my fingers, probably the worst case scenario is next season will be the last time we'll have flashbacks.
And it really is that's the thing why The Flash is better, is strictly because Arrow has the flashbacks.
And that takes a little bit away from the show.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think anyone really likes them. I don't know anyone who goes, I really like those flashbacks. There's 1 or 2 good ones. But if they only did it one every, 4 or 5 episodes, then they could probably be way better.
But I think the other thing too is, I mean, they drag.
Like the only good one, the one with Constantine. That was the only one I could think of that was like
Great this season.
Great.
I was at a friend's house this evening and I was watching. It was actually on, and I kind of was while I was doing some applications for some jobs. I was catching it, and their new thing with flashbacks, they get shorter and shorter. That's another thing. Like they will say one or two lines, and then it'll shoot back to the current day. So it's like, we're just gonna throw this here for you, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're gonna invest your money in a stock portfolio, and it's gone.
But anywho, Dexter, yeah, that's been on my list. I definitely should watch that before that comes back, though.
Keep the shield up top. Let's do your number 2.
My number 2 was a show that I loved when it was on the air. The first season was really good. I enjoyed the whole show. I know it was on season 2. There was a writer's strike, so the show was cut in half. It was Heroes. I loved Heroes personally.
My friends were into it. I never got into it.
That's obviously it's a personal taste kind of thing. The thing with Heroes is it was really good the first season. It was like a comedy. It was at the time it was the show with the most amount of main characters. There was at least 12, I think. There was a high number.
I remember catching an episode here or there. This is fucking 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of characters. I remember seeing some characters from other shows. I'm like, oh, I would probably watch it if they was in there. But yeah, he's only in for 5 minutes every episode because there's 12 main characters and there's always so much shit going on.
I think the two biggest characters that come out of Heroes was Hayden Panettiere, the blonde-haired girl who ends up on Nashville, and then of course Zachary Quinto. We all know as he's on American Horror Story, which actually I might start next, to be honest with you. And
the thing about American Horror Story is you can pick up a season, watch something else, pick up another season, because although there is minor things that happen with other ones, they're not.
Yeah, they're not intertwined.
Yeah.
But so with Heroes, so the end of season. Okay, so season 4 talks about this whole.
You can ruin Heroes for me because I'll never watch it.
Okay, spoiler alert. So Heroes season 4, there was this whole carnival that comes in, led by this guy named Sam, and I think the lead character lost his powers. I forgot his last name, but Petrelli, I think, or something. His brother was like the senator or whatnot, whatever. So there's this big battle at the end of the last episode, and all these people are watching, all these spectators, these normal people, people with no powers. Hayden Panettiere, who was the cheerleader, her power was that she could heal and regenerate. So she goes, I think everyone needs to see this. Or
she's the cheerleader.
So she jumped. She jumps off the top of this Ferris wheel. I think it was a Ferris wheel building. She jumps off of something, falls what looks like to her death, and she gets up, and she heals right in front of people. I think there was a news station taping it too, and that was it. The show got canceled because the ratings were bad. So then, the network decides, we're going to do a new series with some new characters. I mean, some old characters, some new characters, called Heroes Reborn. It lasted a season. It just canceled this past season. I liked the show, and I would have liked to have a little more of a set ending. But I guess my big problem is one of my favorite shows, and it just kind of like something really big happened, and it just boom, stop. It could have led to something bigger, I think.
There's a lot of shows that got canceled early. Vegas was another one that had Michael Chiklis in it.
Yep.
What the fuck's that guy?
Anything on Fox?
No, Vegas was on, I think CBS.
Yeah.
And the ratings were actually, the thing about Vegas getting canceled was the ratings were better than most channels at that time, but CBS wanted really, really good ratings. And unfortunately that led to their demise. That actually did end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, that would probably be my honorable mention of the list. It was a really, really good show. And that was fucking 3 years ago. I can't believe that.
Oh.
So.
The thing, me and my best friend, actually, she's working on a logo for something for me right now when she gets a chance. Nikki, we were talking about how most network TV these days suck, and it generally always has. So all the good TV shows that probably would have done really well have been canceled. If they were on other stations or online.
I heard Supergirl might be going to the CW.
I heard that. And rumors has it John Constantine... This one's... Okay, so... I know we're getting a little off topic. Before we continue Supergirl, let's finish up these countdowns. Your honorable mention was Vegas, you said?
Yeah.
For
Do you have
me,
honorable mention?
I just have, we're talking about this. Most of the TV shows I'm thinking of were because they were canceled. You know, because I like a lot of obscure stuff. So a lot of things I'm thinking of, like Code Monkeys. It wasn't a bad, the show was great, but it just got canceled, and it sucked that it got canceled.
Alright, my number one of my favorite shows of all time. Not one that a lot of people I know watched either. NBC canned it. That's another cancellation. My Name is Earl. Amazing comedy. 4 seasons worth of a show. It ended with a to be continued fucking sign, and then they got canceled. So there is literally a half of an episode out there that it ended on, and you're gonna find out who one of his kids, quote, the father is. To be continued. Show gets canceled. You think NBC would have at least said, okay, we're going to cancel you, but we're going to give you like a 4-episode miniseries to wrap up the show.
Or put you online.
Or something like that. There's been rumors of our movies for like ever. The show ended in 2009, so it's been a long time. And there's been rumors up to like last year about a movie. But My Name is Earl got canned at the end of season 4. I love that fucking show. And it's a great show. I highly recommend you watch it. And the cliffhanger's not a super huge deal. You're just going to find out who one of his kids' real father is. And it's a comedy show. You're not watching it for the drama, but definitely can push you off a little bit.
I caught a couple episodes with him. It's definitely been on my list because I'm a big I love Jason Lee. I think the guy's a genius.
You got his fat buddy.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but
every time I see him, all I can think of is the scene he's in American History X, where he's singing that racist song driving the van. And every time I watch that show, because he plays that lovable, like, retard, basically, all I could think of is very, very different alter ego where he's kind of dumb, but in different ways. Singing racist songs in, like a cockroach van. He's a big Scientology freak, too, Jason Lee. He's big on Scientology.
Interesting.
And so is the fat guy. I can't think of his fucking name.
We'll have to look that up later. So my number one, this is going to lead into actually something similar to what he said with Dexter. So my number one is actually a show that ended the month that I was born in 1991, in June of 91.
Definitely older than any other
25 years ago, the show ended. So as old as me as of next week. So in 1990, ABC aired the show what is known as Twin Peaks, directed by David Lynch. Created and directed by David Lynch. At the time, this show was critically acclaimed. The first season was 8 episodes long. It was about a girl's murder and this FBI agent who comes to this small town to investigate. And at first you think it's like a murder mystery kind of show. Within the matter of an episode during season 2, the show went from murder mystery to horror supernatural. And the show just went out in left field. The show, as Agent Dale Cooper, the lead character, he's investigating this murder. He comes to find out that the murderer... okay, this is a big spoiler. I didn't want to really spoil this, but in order for me to get this plot along, I have to kind of spoil the show to tell you the ending and why it's...
You've been warned. If you're going to listen...
But I highly advise to watch it anyways.
Fuck it up for you.
So they find out during the show that the killer is actually the spirit that moves from body to body. This evil person named Bob. And...
Evil people are always named Bob.
I mean, it was a little iffy. I still have to go back and watch it again. I want to watch it again sooner than later. But at the end of the last episode of Season 2, Dale Cooper goes into this place called the Black Lodge. And it's very trippy. You could have sworn you dropped acid and ecstasy at once and entered this room. And he's just seeing different versions of himself. He's seeing Laura Palmer. He's seeing all these other people. When he leaves, he gets out, he passes out or something. He wakes up, goes into the bathroom to brush his teeth, and you can tell he was a little odd. He looks up in the mirror. You see him looking at the mirror. And inside the mirror is the face of the guy, Bob. And that was it.
That was the ending?
That was the ending. And the show got canceled. Mind you, the first season, that show got nominated for 14 Emmys.
Damn. Now, what channel was it on?
ABC.
ABC's generally not aggressive like other channels will cancel.
But you had to see this is a show that if that show started this year, it would be on like HBO or Showtime or Stars. The show was ahead of its time. I think it was the first TV show that had that cinematic feel, like most TV shows do now. The writing is bizarre, but it sucks you in, and I did not stop. I was supposed to watch a bunch of other shows. I had that status up. What should I watch next? Shield. There was somebody said The Wire. Somebody said this or that.
I need to start The Wire myself.
You know.
And it's a lovely show about the fucking dump that is Baltimore.
Baltimore. What we don't like to remember about Baltimore. But that's how the show stopped. So the show got canceled. And then 2 months before that, David Lynch announced he was making a movie. So rumored had... My uncle for years had told me that this movie, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, was supposed to kind of be a prequel sequel that shows you how Laura Palmer died, and it was supposed to sum up the ending. And I watched the movie. The movie bombed. I actually liked the movie. It really kind of showed you what happened during the murder. But it never told you what happened after that last episode.
So you got half of what you wanted.
Yeah. It's been 25 years. And as of currently right now, I think it's on Showtime. It's in production. David Lynch is reviving the series. And by revival, they are continuing.
When you say revival, are they going to go, okay, season 3? Are they going to go season 3 now? Are they going to call it season 3 or are they going to call it season 1? Like with a different name?
I don't know if it's like season 3, but I know it's starting as a mini-series. So what this could do, do a Trailer Park Boys, where the show had been off the air for a while, and then we're going to pick this up quickly. And then it just seems to become this big thing, and it just...
A fun statistic might be, what's the longest gap between seasons for a show? That would actually be a fun little fact that we'll have to look up for another week.
Another week, yeah.
Because Trailer Park Boys had a pretty good size gap. I'm sure it's been beat by something somewhere, but...
No, that's what I'm saying right here. Twin Peaks, it took them 25 years for a channel to go, yeah, we're going to continue this, because even my uncle who said my father, he saw me watching, he goes, are you watching? I go, yeah. He goes, I love this show. He goes, your mother hated it, but I loved it. He goes, it was awesome. It was a great... with my writing my web series right now, this show has really influenced me, and it's 2 seasons long, there's 30 episodes, the movie's 2 hours long, definitely something you should at least look into. It's on Netflix. It's called Twin Peaks.
The best shows are always canceled, man.
That's what I'm saying. You know, this show is considered a cult show, but if this show lasted, I think this show would have had an even bigger impact than it has. I mean, it has because a lot of shows have that cinematic feel. But with the show coming back, it's going to be a mini-series first, which I'm not sure if it's going to be considered a season. But they have 217 people casted for the show, including probably like at least 90% of the original cast.
That's really good.
You know, especially 25 years, that's not like a 10-year difference. They're going to be older.
There's a lot of shows that come from Britain that don't make it over here, like Life on Mars. I actually like the U.S. adaptation of Life on Mars. It was fucking incredible. Harvey Keitel was in it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why it ended so quick. And the ratings were okay. My mother loved it. Me and my mother were always talking about the show. It lasted 1 season. They actually ended it, though, thankfully.
The thing with TV shows now is nobody has time. So I don't know what the Nielsen ratings pull in anymore. Because they used to pull in, how many people are watching this at this time. But now there's online. They put stuff online. I don't know if they count that. I don't know. Obviously, there's people who torrent. So people that are torrent, or there's these other sites they can stream. So that's not taken into account, any of this. Obviously, Netflix and Hulu are the sites they probably take into account. But I think they're more focused on who's watching it now, at that moment in time. Who's really taking their time out of their day. So if more people are taking their time out of their day to watch American Idol, like to stop their life to watch American Idol over something like Dexter or something like Twin Peaks.
But people like simple, people like easy, people like
Yeah.
garbage. And unfortunately, that's how people are these days. They don't want the drama. They don't want that. I don't want to say it, but maybe distraction is a good word for it.
Yeah.
They don't want to feel that way about something when they have enough shit going on. So they want something that's basically brainless and terrible.
Yeah, like
I know it's kind of harsh, but
well, I mean that's like me if I'm waiting for something or I'm at break. I'm so focused on my work. I don't want to do anything like big or do anything really important. I've stopped reading. I sit there and play fucking little pointless games on my phone.
fuck those games. Those games are fucking terrible.
Well, actually, no. It's more like crossword puzzles. But
okay, all right. Well, yeah, but those Candy Crush games are all fucking rigged to fucking steal your money.
yeah, I mean, well, obviously, people.
Candy Crush, literally, there's like statistical proven facts that if you ever spend a dime on that thing, they constantly stay like 10 times harder, all the levels. Those levels are designed to fucking beat you up and have certain impossible ones that you can't beat, so you dump a bunch of money. They're not really games.
So it's a playground bully. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah,
You don't get your money.
they're
They're
not
gonna.
really games, dude. They're obviously everything's a money-making device,
It's a profit generator. Yeah.
but it doesn't matter how much skill you have on games like Candy Crush and all that fuck. Like, yeah, there's certain freemium games like Plants vs. Zombies. Yeah, you can beat all the levels without spending real money. You get half of the game because half the plants are locked behind real money.
But eventually, that's a game you're gonna buy.
Yeah, well, the game's free. It's free to play. The original was one-time payment. Probably one of my favorite games of all time.
It's still fun to
Yeah.
play.
But it's an older app. All new apps have that freemium feel to it, and it's all they're meant to do is steal your fucking money. And it's fucking terrible, dude. Like Candy Crush, I hate that game. Alphabeti, basically the letter version of it. All those match 3 games. A lot of them have intentionally near impossible levels or levels that, you have like a 1 in 50,000 chance of beating just so they can fucking steal money from you. They're scams. They're literally scams. They make them just fun enough to keep playing, just fun enough. South Park had it right on that episode.
Yeah.
The Canadian Devil.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, there are some of those games where obviously some of them are definitely trying to just look for. When you make a game and you want to update it and people enjoy it, and you. So some of them I would argue for less than 10% of them that they are trying to. They're just making a game and they just need to make some kind of revenue. That's less than 10%. Most of them.
Okay, let's talk major manufacturers. If you make a game, yeah, you need to make some money. I'm going to throw some ads in there. You can buy the no-ad version for $5, whatever it
Yes.
may be. That's fine. You got to make your money. You got to pay the bills. I'm totally fine with that. I'm even fine with in-app purchases within reason. 100 free lives for $1. Like, that's, I think, what Fruit Ninja charges you is 100 of each of the power-ups for $1. That's fine. That's not going to take the money. That's less than a coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you talk fucking serious money, like the donuts on Simpsons Tapped Out, a game that really there's no anything to win. It's just you build a Springfield. You're talking $10 for a fucking building. Literally, that's like how much DLC costs. Like in a real game for basically a building that doesn't do anything. It doesn't add a level. It doesn't. It just
sits there. Yeah.
A lot of those games and their donuts are so hard to earn. Outside of that, it's almost impossible. Some of them you can't even. Like I think not until recently, The Simpsons Tapped Out, you couldn't even earn like daily donuts or any of that shit.
Yeah, that makes the game pretty much impossible.
Those games are scams. Well, impossible. What are you doing besides building a city? It's for complete. I'm a completionist. I don't have any desire to buy all those buildings.
No.
I love fucking 100% in games, but I would fucking waste money doing it.
But that goes back to kind of like trophies. Like it's gonna deter you from even playing. You've just lost a customer. Because if you're a completionist and you want to complete something like that, but you have to pay money or you have to do something that seems really impractical, you've just lost somebody who has interest.
There was one game that came out for PS3, PS4, where you had to buy DLC to get the base platinum. I understand adding trophies for DLC, that's cool, that's unreasonable, and it doesn't actually lock you out of the platinum.
Yeah.
The DLC trophies don't. but I don't remember what game it was, but you had to have bought DLC to get the platinum. Actually, another one was one of the Burnouts, the racing games. You had to have like the eye or the picture thing and take a picture or something as for one of the trophies.
Yeah.
That's fucking scam.
Yeah, we wouldn't advise any of that. So,
just stay away. Just be careful those games you play. If you're playing crosswords, that's fine. Crosswords, you really can't have in-app purchases. Buy a letter for $5. Like,
I mean, they have things where you can buy coins to help you figure things out. Because sometimes the words are just like, I was doing a crossword puzzle today, and it was a 3-letter word, and it was campaign or movement. And I'm like, 3-letter word. I thought of everything. So then that's when you just start making up shit. That's when you start
going. What was the clue?
Campaign or a movement. So I went through everything. I started looking at you get a list of letters, because at least it helps you with some letters. And I started mixing up letters. And eventually I put in the word raw, and I'm like, nah. I flipped them around, I go war, and it was the word. I'm like...
War campaign.
I was... War movement, war camp. But it's not the first thing you... It's stuff like that.
That's tricky.
That's tricky, yeah.
For sure.
But, yeah, definitely keep an eye on what you're investing in.
I don't give a fuck that you spend a couple dollars on a game, but I know people that spent hundreds of dollars on the Family Guy version of the Simpsons game, Family Guy Quest for Stuff. That's fucking ridiculous.
Stop it, Stan.
Yeah, Stan Marsh in that episode of South Park. I know people that did that in real life.
Don't be Stan.
Don't be Stan.